Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Harvey here from the world-renowned show that you all know, the Justin Harvey Show. Tonight, I am proud to announce that I am the official permanent host of World Martial Arts Radio Network. That is correct, folks. You will be hearing me doing these wonderful, wonderful martial arts radio shows all year long. And tonight we have a very special guest, Grandmaster Gary Pointer, who is part of the U.S. representative for the Korean Hapkido Federation. Welcome, sir. I hope I didn't mess that up too bad.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Justin. It's an honor to be here to speak with you.
It's an honor to have you, sir. And to start things off, what got you interested in the martial arts, sir?
Wow. This happened back for me, it happened back in the 1960s. I guess the most prevalent martial arts show during that particular time frame that caught my eye was Bruce Lee when he played the role of Kato in the Green Hornet series. And that was around about maybe 1966, 1967. And upon seeing that, that kind of brought the attention of the martial arts, to my eyes. And I was a little boy, but when I saw that, that was kind of phenomenal. And that was well before, you had the Kung Fu craze era that came out in the 1970s. But that was something that really caught my eye, and it inspired me to go ahead and to seek training or to seek someone who teaches that so I could learn it.
Oh wow! Did you know that there's actually a remake of the Green Hornet? I think it's a movie. Did you ever see that, sir? The remake of the Green Hornet?
Well, I know that there was a remake, but like me, for me, the original, the old school. You can never go ahead and not do that. And the phenomenon of Bruce Lee, especially being on film, that was the preeminence of that, and nobody could actually take the place of that individual in that aspect. But I know they did do a remake of it.
Yeah, I just thought that was a fun fact that I would mention very, very quickly here. And it's to my understanding, sir, you started your training in St. Louis, and tell us about some of your favorite old school training drills, because I heard that your training was very, very tough. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, like I said, the way the old guys, and I would say the old school trainers trained, it was pretty rough and tumble. You didn't separate classes by gender or by age. Adults and children were all in one class. If they took children, because sometimes they didn't. So if you were a little bit more mature, you were all in one class. And I remember certain drills that we did. And simultaneously, I started training in both the Korean arts and the Japanese arts at the same time. I was just a little bit fortunate to do that. But I know one method of training in one of the classes I had, we call the lines. You had people who were lined up, and you were being attacked by the individuals in that line, and you didn't know what was coming. You didn't know if it was going to be a hand technique or if it was going to be a leg technique or a kick technique, but you had to go ahead and react. And as long as that line was there, you had to go ahead and do what you needed to do, until the next person came up. Once you got to that, to the start of that line, then you went in to go into the line, and the next person came up, to go ahead and actually do those techniques. Another particular training method that was there that we did, and especially during the jiu-jitsu portion of my training, we used to have what we call the man in the middle. So you have one person in the middle, and he would be surrounded by attackers. And one by one, the attackers would have to come and attack you. You didn't know where the individual was going to come from. You didn't know what they were going to do. But you had to go ahead and actually go ahead and be, pretty, reflexive upon whatever they did. So that was the old school method. And I do remember in the Korean style, we did 1, 2, and 3-step sparring, which was I thought was pretty significant.
Wow, that's amazing. And can you please talk about? I understand that you were actually in the World Martial Arts magazine as a columnist. Can you talk a little bit about your experience, maybe being in the magazine, or maybe talk about that experience if you would?
Being in the magazine?
For World Martial Arts, the World Martial Arts magazine. So.
Yeah, well, to me, that experience is, I guess it just culminates with what's happening out there. You know what I mean? To submit, to read, to write, to be a principal figure, and to kind of give out information, especially within the martial arts community. I just think that that's pretty prominent because that way, you can share material that probably others don't know that's there. And for me, it just gave me a chance to go ahead and to contribute, knowledge on a different level, by writing, and by sharing, experiences and those things that have gone on, in my martial arts training.
Oh, wow. And I understand later you trained with one of the legends in the art of Taekwondo. Please share about your experience doing that with our listeners, please.
Wow, I had a unique opportunity to be introduced and to train with Grandmaster Sun. Sun was a former president of the Korea Taekwondo Association. I know back in the 1950s, 60s, and I know he left South Korea and he came to the United States. And I was training with one of his students, out of St. Louis, a master Kung Woo Yu, and Kung Woo Yu was a part of a delegation of Taekwondo instructors that was actually here in the Midwest, and Grandmaster Sun was the head trainer over all those masters that had came here to the United States at the time. And with that, I was invited to go and to train with Grandmaster Sun. Like later on in my training, I got a chance to go ahead and go to New York if he was teaching, or he had a dojang in Manhattan, in New York City, and I know that he was teaching at some of the other local colleges around the area, including at West Point and at Brown University. So with me having that opportunity, I just thought that was like that was the crown of my my martial arts training, at that particular time, especially in Taekwondo.
Wow, that's amazing, sir. And you are a member of the prestigious Korean Martial Arts Instructors Association. What has been your role in that particular organization, sir?
Wow, my role within the Korean Martial Arts Instructors Association, I'm a lifetime board member of the association, and with me being a part of that organization, I had a chance to hold the title and the rankings of Grandmasters in Hapkido, Taekwondo, Simudo, and Yusul. And because of that, within the Korean martial arts community, I had a chance to kind of gravitate and to learn that particular organization was a chief organization of instructors, and in order to be an instructor, especially if you were in South Korea, you had to be a member of that particular organization, and you had to be sanctioned by their organization in order to teach in South Korea. So I was pretty honored to have been a part of the organization, and I guess through the years to be put on the board of that organization, and I'm honored to be a part of that.
That's amazing, sir. And right now, here's a word from our sponsors. We will be back with Grandmaster Gary Pointer. Hold tight.
Hi, Stephanie Ma here again with a special report from World Martial Arts Media about LegacyFightGear.com. Legacy Fight Gear is the official supplier to the world's oldest and most respected martial arts organizations. They have been manufacturing high-quality, affordable products for over 30 years. Visit their new online catalog at LegacyFightGear.com today. School owners who want to raise money for their teams can register to get a wholesale account and become a distributor for LegacyFightGear.com. Don't forget to like our official page at www.facebook.com/LegacyFightGear.
And we're back. I got to tell you, Grandmaster Gary, I'm having a blast this evening, sir. So thank you so much. I'm having a blast. So.
Thank you. I appreciate having this opportunity to speak with you and the listeners out there.
Yes, sir. And I hope I get this next question right. Let's see here. It says, I understand that you are one of the administrators of the KMAIA. What has been your role in that, sir? And what style have you been teaching the students in that particular organization?
Well, the KMIA is the Korean Martial Arts Instructors Association.
Yes, sir.
We like I said, we teach different, styles and methods of the Korean martial arts. But what I'm doing uniquely with the KMIA is that I'm teaching a course in regards to martial arts leadership. And what this particular course is based upon the tenets, the philosophies, and the principles and attributes of the 5 tenets of Taekwondo in Korea, the 7 virtues of Bushido from Japan, the 4 postures of martial arts, that comes from the Shaolin Temple in China, and the 20 universal traits of being a quality person from the Wudang Temple, of the Song Dynasty. So we're just basically taking those particular principles and actually teaching a universal concept of leadership as it applies to a martial artist and then martial artist training. So we're trying to go ahead and do that to build, some character traits of a martial artist, so that those things can never, we can never go ahead and miss out on doing those things, because those things are really important in developing, the principles for one to be a martial artist.
Absolutely, sir. And I wanted to ask you this next question. Like through your martial arts training, have you ever taught someone with maybe a physical disability? Maybe they've been in a wheelchair from a disability. Have you had any disabled students through the years of your teaching, sir?
I have had I've had some physically challenged students before, and to an extent, even those who have other type of I guess restrictions. I've had students to go ahead and do that. When it comes to martial arts training, one can continue to train, and those particular shortcomings, or not really shortcomings, we just learn how to go ahead and train around that, or we train to go ahead and enhance whatever their limitations are. So within those limitations, training can be enhanced also. So it's nothing that can actually limit an individual, from reaching, their goals if they want to go ahead and train in the martial arts.
That's amazing, sir, and I commend you. I commend you for doing that, sir. I really respect that because I'm disabled myself, and I can completely understand and everything. So I commend you on that, sir. And with that said, it's time to pay some bills. It's time to hear a message from our sponsors. We will be right back, so hang tight, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ma from World Martial Arts Media, and today I'm here to tell you about LegacyBelts.com. Legacy Championship Belts and Awards is the world's premier manufacturer of custom and cast championship title belts who supplies belts to top professional boxing, MMA, and wrestling organizations on the planet. If you're a promoter or collector looking for a high-quality MMA, martial arts, boxing, wrestling belt, or even a belt for a special event, then you need to visit LegacyBelts.com today. Be sure to like us at www.facebook.com/LegacyBelts.
Taekwondo training, fellowship, and spirit. The U.S. National Taekwondo Association is your link to the traditional Taekwondo of Korea. We offer both national and world certifications. Our mission is to provide a fraternal organization for the promotion and preservation of Taekwondo as a martial art. We strive to service all needs of the traditional stylist from the highest level Grandmaster to the beginner student. Enjoy the many benefits we offer. Grade and black belt certifications, instructor and master instructor courses, tournament insurance, success seminars, state, national, and international competitions, business support, martial arts supplies, monthly e-newsletter, and private training tours of Korea. Not only do we teach the best techniques, but Korean philosophy as well. We develop the complete mind, body, and spirit philosophy. Visit www.usnta.net to join today.
And we're back with Grandmaster Gary Pointer. I tell you what, this has got to be one of the best shows of the year, probably. So let's continue this, shall we? I understand that you've been invited to become a member of the World Martial Arts Congress in Beijing, China, and the most prestigious Grandmasters Council in history. What will your role be with that, sir?
Wow. To be honest with you, I'm honored and humbled, to be or to have that opportunity to be a part of a culturally historic organization within the martial arts community. I know that the World Martial Arts Congress is not very well known in this part of the world, but for me to go ahead and to have that particular opportunity and to be invited, it humbles me. If I am to be a part of that, which I will be, we're going to be looking at building a character program. So the whole idea behind my role within the World Martial Arts Congress is to globally take a character building program and actually implement that, through the World Martial Arts Congress. So I will be responsible for initiating that program on a global basis for them.
And I actually understand, if I'm correct, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but if I'm correct, you were actually in the Army with Grandmaster Richard Hackworth. Did you practice martial arts in the Army when y'all was in the Army together? Or?
I know we served in the U.S. Army at the same, during the same period. We trained and we had the same instructors, believe it or not. And to be honest with you, we didn't even know that until after we left the Army. And one day we were just sitting around talking, and then instructors came up, and at a time that I was actually traveling, I went to Korea, and like I said, from the U.S., we found out we had the same instructors, and it was close to the same time period that we were actually in the Army at the time frame. So when a name came up, and then I came up with a name, but I came up with a name and maybe at a place that was nearby where he was at, that's when we kind of figured out that, wow, we had the same instructors, throughout the time frame, but we didn't even know that until after we got out, and I did meet him in the 1990s. When I left out of the military, and I had a chance to go to meet him, and that's how we compared and found out that we had the same instructors.
Oh, that's amazing, sir. You were never called for Vietnam or anything like that, were you, sir? Or?
No, not during that time frame.
Okay. I was just curious because your story is just amazing. My next question is, and this is from your own perspective as a martial artist, but how important do you feel character development is in the martial arts for people in general or just students in general? What's your take on it, sir?
Wow. Character development, especially in the martial arts, I think that's one of probably the most important attributes that an individual should have in studying the martial arts. The reason why I say that is because I know when I started training, and especially when I start meeting individuals, that their character, their the virtue, those qualities that you look into a person, especially as a mentor and as a teacher, you look for those positive qualities. And I think in the martial arts world, you have to have that, because with the knowledge that we are acquiring, we have to be very, very careful of how we behave, how we act, and how we interact with other individuals. And to me, that's very, very heavy responsibility for an individual to have. So character and character building, especially with positive role models and positive traits, that's very, very important to have for an individual to have.
Oh, absolutely, sir. And what is your advice for any black belt that may want a career in being a martial arts instructor, but for me, I don't see it as a career. I don't see martial arts as a career. I see it as a way of life. But if we're classifying it as a career, what would your advice be for black belts that want to be instructors?
Well, if they want to instruct and to teach, I think that they need to get with a very high-quality program, a program that's going to teach not just the technical and the tactical applications of the martial arts, run a program that's going to be, have quality in, number one, credentialing, the quality in the actual curriculum, so that, that curriculum is actually steadfast. Also, they need to have, the proper education or the ability to have the knowledge of the culture, of the history, and of the traditions of the martial arts. And a lot of individuals out there, don't really have that. But if you really want that, you should be seeking the authentic teachings of the art, because if you have it from that authentic perspective, that nothing will dilute the integrity of your training and what you're going to be teaching, for years to come.
That's excellent advice. And before I get to wrapping up the show, sir, I just want to say that it's been an honor and privilege to have you on the show today, and thank you so much, because these stories from martial artists like yourself are just treasures that, if they're not told, it's going to be lost. And I just wanted to say thank you before I ask you this last thing. In closing, can you tell our listeners how they can actually contact you if they're wanting to learn more knowledge from someone like yourself, or something like that?
I can be reached. Have an email address. Is Thelmon, THELMON _98 at yahoo.com. I can be reached there. Telephonically, I can be reached area code 954-559-6497. Those will be the two methods that an individual can actually get in contact with me. And if with the telephonic number too, you can also text me at that number. But I'm available, and I will get back in touch with you if anyone has any questions in reference to training within the martial arts as a whole, or any questions that they can have for me in reference to martial arts training, especially those who want to inspire, if they want to become black belts who want to become instructors. So that's what we're looking for that quality to go ahead and to continue into the future, because that is the future of the martial arts.
Absolutely, sir. And I just wanted to ask you one more bonus question, just for fun, because last time me and you were talking, setting this up, you had mentioned that me and you actually have some mutual friends in the martial arts industry. Would you ever work with our mutual friends and possibly like movies and things later on in your career, or has that ever been an interest to you at all during your martial arts career?
Well, as a matter of fact, I've worked with several individuals, especially on a global scale. I had a chance to go ahead and travel, throughout, south of the border here in the U.S., Mexico, into Puerto Rico, some portions of South America, over in Europe, and also throughout the United States. Because my thing is about unifying the martial arts, because the martial arts as a whole is like family. And even though when you get together, it's a family reunion. It can be mom, dad, sister, brother. It can be a cousin, an aunt, uncle, but grandparents, great grands, and whatever else. So the martial arts as a whole is interconnected. So when we go out there, we try to go ahead and promote, the brotherhood of martial arts and have an exchange. So it's like an exchange of ideas, an exchange of philosophies, an exchange of principles. So you find out that basically it all boils down to being the same when you look at it.
That's amazing, sir. And right now, right now I'm going to close the show, but I tell you what, Grandmaster Gary, I would love to have you back on in the future, and I want to say to my listeners, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Justin Ray Harvey, and tune in next time for another episode of World Martial Arts Radio, only here on World Martial Arts Radio Network, where you will get the truth behind martial arts stories. Thank you for listening.